So we're talking about corporate opportunities with dental service organizations versus private practice, and talking about some of the advantages and disadvantages of it, and how you can kind of position yourself for success based on the models and how things are set up, and how to get your goals and your targets, how to get your goals and your targets met. Um, so, Dr. Hall, I have you on. We're just going to record it so that you can refer back to it later on too. Okay.
Okay, cool.
So you've been presented with an opportunity with a
Private.
private practice opportunity that also has another component where it's more of a corporate model also, in the sense that family owned business that has a private practice, has two private practices, and then they also own two DSOs or partners with a dental service organization for two additional offices. And we're just kind of talking about some of your options, some of the advantages and disadvantages. Just for a brief recap, we talked about how with the DSOs, most of them are definitely for a for-profit institution or for-profit entity. So with that in mind, they are definitely looking at the bottom line. A little bit different than where most people will do a GPR residency, which would be more of a hospital-based nonprofit entity that receives funding, federal funding, to see patients that are maybe what we call um, underserved areas. Um, a lot of the hospital programs are also part of what we call safety net programs, where we're pretty much the last resort as far as getting health care, whether it be medical or dental. So most of those entities are nonprofit. So that's a little bit different than the areas and the arenas that we're talking about, um, as it relates to your opportunity. What's nice, Dr. Hall, what you mentioned was on the private practice opportunity, there's some loan repayment. You said 2 years for $45,000.
Yeah.
Okay, so that averages out about, I mean, a little bit close to about $2,000 a month, in addition to your base of about 550, which is cool. Which is good. I mean, you just have to, like I said, you have to look at what your plans are. Well, first of all, look at your student debt, whatever that number is. Um, right now, the average for most new dentists coming out, most graduates, about 265, 270. Um, you have to look at that number and what you think you may be comfortable with as far as your repayment period. Some people choose to pay it off ASAP, meaning first 5, 7 years. Some people extend it out to 10 or 15 or even 20 or even longer to keep the payments down. There are programs that will where you can make payments based off of your based on your income, like a sliding fee scale they have for treatment. There's a
Right.
sliding payment plans based on your income, which might be something to look into also. But even with a base and with a bonus or a loan repayment, after the 2 years, then what? You may have to look into possibly looking at some additional bonus incentives based on a certain level of production. That's a way to kind of keep that, kind of keep you there, but also provide an incentive for you to make sure that your student debt concerns are being met. Um,
Mhm.
what else did we talk about?
Um,
What was your question about my take on the
I guess I
DSOs?
just wanted to know, like, what was your take on like corporate versus private? I mean, you kind of answered it. Just like the pros and cons.
Mm-hmm.
Um,
Go down.
I guess do you feel? Oh, one of the other questions that I had was like, what's your take on, coming out of a GPR and being like the only doc in the office? Just straight out, because one of the things that my other mentors suggested was, or talked about, was like comfort level and being like open to being like networking and mentorship, but you don't have to always have like that person in the office. And most of us like feel comfortable, obviously, with somebody there, right there. But like, as long as you're a phone call away, or you can temporize things to the point to go back, get the information that you need, and come back and then develop a plan. How do you feel about like that situation, coming out of the GPR and being the only doc, or new docs being like the only doc or lead doc?
Right. So being a solo person, basically being a solo practitioner versus being part of a group practice. My experience has always been a group practice at some level.
Okay.
So here at Bronx Lebanon, when I was a resident, again, there was 15, 16, 18, almost 20 of us, in addition to all the attendings and GP attendings and specialists. It was like a mini dental school / group practice. Left here and went and joined the Air Force. And in the Air Force, same thing. It was big. It was pretty much like a group practice. We had GPs, we had endodontists, periodontists, pros, oral surgeon, all part of that unit where I was in the military. And then after the military, I went into a private practice in Houston, where I was one of, at any time, at least one of two, if not three doctors in the practice. So I've had a group practice experience, so to speak. The only time where I was solo was, it was at least 10 years after I had been in after residency and been in group practice settings for that period of time. So when I opened up my own office, it was a solo practitioner. At that time, I had the experience and the level of comfort knowing what I wanted to do and what I felt best should be referred out. So to answer your question, it really depends on your own comfort level. Everyone learns at a different rate. Everyone learns at different times, and everyone is different with different things. I think as a new dentist, being that if you've just finished a residency, that's really like your third year of really having some type of clinical experience. But really 1 year of true clinical experience, because the experience that you have in dental school is 2 patients a day, versus if you do a residency, depending on where you go, you're looking at 6 to 12 or 15 patients a day, which may be more in alignment with what you're going to be experiencing in private practice, so to speak. So really, that 1 year residency, you're still, even though you have an increase in confidence, an increase in skill set, you're still learning. You're still part of that process. You're still want to consult with other docs about whether it be in extractions, treatment planning, or even just other business things. So I would think that there's probably a propensity for people to want to at least have someone to kind of have some dialogue with another doc in the office, maybe especially someone that has a little bit more experience. I think that will allow you to have a lot more great learning experiences as a new dentist versus being in a practice or being in a position where you're pretty much by yourself. Again, you have to be really, really, really self-aware professionally as to where you are and what you're comfortable with to make that decision. Plus, if you're able to be in a mentoring position, I would say take advantage of it. Okay, take advantage of it. Or if you're able to work out a situation where, yeah, maybe one day out of the 5 days you're in the office by yourself, but maybe there's 2 or 3 or 4 other days where you have the interaction of other colleagues, other GPs that are there that can help you and that'll actually help increase your level of development and your growth just by being able to have somebody else to bounce things off of. So again, I mean that's my answer, kind of long-winded, but I think it really goes back to what you're confident in, and as a resident, you start to gain that confidence, and you gain to know what you don't know, so that you can get more help in doing it. So, so I mean, I would say you may want to err towards those experiences where you have some interaction, you have some direct interaction, because that's how you're going to learn. That's how you're going to continue to learn, and you don't want to put yourself in a position where you're doing stuff just because of production, but you don't feel confident clinically to make it go right. That's the position you don't want to be in when you're by yourself, having to be forced to make decisions about production, but clinically it may not be tried and true, or may not be on the up and up. So if you have the opportunity to seek a mentor or some type of collegial opportunity or an environment, I would grab that first and foremost, because I think you're going to learn so much more.
She's definitely willing to teach, like the other person. She's willing to like be in the office like at first,
right? And that may be something that you guys just have to work out as far as like, at first. Yeah. What does that mean? 6 months, on and off for 1 year,
Something was like to say in the interview, like how long, how we're gonna work this out, and then the day that I don't work, like we can do mentorship type of conversations and like talk about a lot of things.
Right. So I would also recommend, like I mentioned before, make sure that you have a list of questions as you and I are talking, but a list of questions as far as logistics, how would certain things work if we do this, or if I'm going to be in certain offices certain day, what does that mean? What does that look like? You want to have it somewhat structured and spelled out as part of the contract, with the understanding that some things are going to actually, things are going to change. I mean, they're going to have to morph and materialize, but you want to have some foundational understanding as to how things would work and how things would look.
Okay.
But again,
yeah, that's one thing Dr. Evans said. She said, things to talk with the person in your interview about realistic expectations, and like, we always, everybody makes a lot of plans for what, but then life happens, and so what is it really going to look like? So,
right.
That's the thing to also ask and stress in the interview.
Right. And I would also, as you're coming up with a list of questions, also come up for yourself a list of goals that have time frames and numbers associated with them that you're looking to have the owner dentist help you with over your period of time. If they're interested in mentoring and they agree to do it, then that forces you to have a list of things that you want to accomplish and share that list with them, because then it's a win-win for you, but also for them, because that may lead to a greater relationship where you may be a partner in one of their offices that either they currently have or that they're looking to expand into.
Okay. All right.
So, so it is about kind of having your own thoughts and ideas and plans and goals, but also sharing that with them and asking them, are they willing to be a mentor as relates to helping you be as successful as possible, which means to you means X, Y, and Z, whatever your goals are. X, your other goal, Y, and your last goal, Z. Whatever that is for you, sharing that with them to see if they're willing to be a partner in your professional development as you're also helping them with their with the office goals and dreams and aims and purposes too.
Okay. All right. Well, I definitely have a lot to, well, not so much, but, things to do for the next couple in preparation for my interview.
So when are you scheduled to get back to
interview?
To interview or set something up?
My interview is in 2 weeks. The 8th.
2 weeks, okay.
Yep. Mm-hmm.
Okay. All right. So I think one of the things we should do is we should circle back up, look at some of your targets or some of the things that you just have kind of written down for yourself, and maybe that'll help us pose some potential questions to ask as far as whether one of the two offices or just working with them is going to be a good fit, because that's the thing you want to keep in mind. Also, understand this may be your first job after residency, but it's not going to be your last.
Yeah, I know that.
Yeah, it's definitely not going to be your last, but you want to make the opportunity for the period of time that you're going to be working with this group or with this person or these owners or these other dentists, this office. You want it to be productive based on what you're trying to accomplish. So that's why you have to have your targets and your goals for yourself set up, or at least be self-aware and know what they are, so that when we go into the interview, you can share those with them and see how and if they would be willing to help you meet those goals. And also just to have some questions to them about what their goals and what their targets are long term, because you want to make sure that both you and the office is kind of going in the same direction. If you're going to the right based on X, Y, and Z, and they're going to the left based on A, B, C, it may not be it may not be a fit, right. But you don't know that until you ask, right?
Right.
So that's good. I mean, that shows them too that you are interested. Always be interested on what others are doing, because then you can kind of frame your discussions as to what you're trying to accomplish, so that you can see how the two could be in alignment.
Mm-hmm.
So
I definitely I had a list that I made earlier of things that I wanted in a job. There were certain things that I had that I wanted, and I made need. These were needs, and then these were wants.
Yes.
So I definitely made that list earlier, and so I can definitely show that to you. And then that's kind of what made me kind of come to my decision, and to see which one I really wanted to go after more.
Okay.
And then definitely I'll get to you more of a list of more of my goals. That's kind of one thing I'm thinking about while I'm on vacation, because I feel they have changed a little bit.
Of course.
So I never really wanted to online practice until now. I've thought about it more.
Yeah.
Even in the future, not tomorrow, but in the future.
Right.
So that's one thing I've thought about now more than I had in dental school and stuff like that. So.
Yep, and they will change. They will change over your career. You'll be 20 years in, and there's gonna be something else that you're gonna want to achieve and tackle and accomplish. So that's good. So let's plan on looking at those, and if you want, we can even kind of do. What's that?
When do you want to reschedule or schedule a meeting before my interview? Because I'm going to be out the 7th because I think I'm driving down. So would you want to meet sometime next week? What time? Or have me next week? What time?
Yeah, well, you said your interview is not next week, but the week after. So the week of the 10th is your interview?
No, my interview is the 8th, April 8th.
Oh, April 8th. Okay, so we're on a short stick.
Yeah, and I'm off the 7th. So which day would you want to meet?
Yeah, so we're probably gonna have to look at the 7th, the 6th, and the 7th. I'm gonna be out of the office. So the 5th, I'm actually gonna be out of the office for an event at Rutgers. So it's gonna have to be probably this Monday or Tuesday coming up. That maybe we can try to do something. We maybe, if we get this video working, maybe we can do the Google handouts. Hangouts.
Well, we can't do it with Google Mail, Gmail.
Say that again, Doc.
We can't do it at work because it's not Google.
Yeah. You can't do it at work, but in the evening, I might be able to do something. Tuesday evening, no, but maybe Monday evening, or Wednesday evening may work.
Okay.
All right. So let's do that. Let's do a part 2 here, where we kind of prepare yourself for your interview, having a list of your own personal and professional targets, so that you are up to date with that, what that looks like for you in your own mind, and then potential questions, and then questions for them. But also, what we'll do is we'll kind of do a mock interview where I'll ask you some questions, and let's kind of look at your answers and how you would answer, and things like that, because that's gonna I think that's helpful to have to have that exercise and knowing what to expect in an actual interview, what things are important to know about what they're looking for, like eye contact and your body language, how you're sitting, are you leaning forward when you're talking or listening? All those different things tell a little bit more about your personality, which they want to know, because they don't know you. Only thing they know is you're a resident, you're a dentist that graduated from this school, went to this residency, got a couple of recommendation letters, and you have a license. Outside of that, that's all they really know about you. So some of the things in the interview are going to be key, because that's your only chance to make a real good first impression. So so good. This was good. I'm glad you called, and I'm glad we were able to kind of flush out some things and answer some questions about some opportunities after residency as it relates to private practice and or corporate / versus corporate / DSO, dental service org. So this will be good. I'm excited.
Yeah.
I'm excited for
you. I'm excited too.
Well,
so I will see you Wednesday or Monday?
Let's plan on, let's say Wednesday. Let's do Wednesday.
Okay, Wednesday evening.
Wednesday evening. If something changes, I'll let you know. Same thing on your end. If something changes, but let's plan.
I'll let you know.
Yeah, that way it gives you the rest of the weekend of your vacation to kind of prepare and kind of get your thoughts together. Okay.
All right. Thank you very much, Dr. Hayes.
You're welcome, Dr. Hall. We'll talk to you.
Did you have a good birthday?
I did. I did. All right. I will talk to you later.
Right.
Okay.
All right.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
All right, guys. So to see and hear more about new dentist strategies and opportunities for employment as it relates to private practice versus DSO or corporate practices, if you have questions, contact me down below right here, newdentistcoach@gmail.com, newdentistcoach@gmail.com. This is part of my aim, part of my purpose, to help as many new dentists as possible with professional development. So help me help you if you have questions, comments, concerns or topics or information that you want to hear more about, let me know and we'll get that out to you. Have a great day and take care.